Japanese automakers Honda and Nissan have announced plans to join forces.
Is reportedly preparing to launch a brand new version of its legendary CB754 at the start of 2026.
Honda's CEO Toshihiro Mibe took the global motorcycle and automotive community by storm with a landmark announcement that bridges Honda's legendary past with its forward-looking innovations. In an electrifying keynote address, Mibe unveiled 5 groundbreaking new models set for a 2026 release, each representing a significant pivot in Honda's design philosophy, market strategy, and technological ambitions. What made this moment especially striking was the calculated blend of heritage and futurism. Among the standout revelations were the return of the revered Honda CB750, the reimagined Electric Honda Super Cub, the revival of the burly CB1100, a bold electric version of the iconic Honda CBX, and the jaw-dropping return of the Honda S2000 sports car. This wasn't merely a product launch, it was a declaration that Honda intends to dominate the next era of mobility without abandoning the emotional legacy that helped define it. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The CB750's return stands out as a symbolic gesture and a technical triumph. Originally launched in 1969, the CB750 is widely regarded as the first modern superbike. It revolutionized the motorcycle world with its inline-4 engine, disc brakes, and mass-market affordability. Its 2026 incarnation retains the soul of the original, complete with a 4-cylinder configuration, but introduces cutting-edge materials and electronic wizardry to bring it firmly into the 21st century. Engineered for performance purists and nostalgia-driven riders alike, the new CB750 showcases a finely tuned 750cc liquid-cooled engine with variable valve timing and ride-by-wire throttle control. Honda has equipped it with cornering ABS, traction control, and multiple riding modes, features unthinkable in the era of its predecessor. Its chassis, composed of lightweight, high-tensile steel and aluminum composite, has been sculpted for agility without sacrificing stability. While its silhouette is unmistakably a CB, there's a futuristic sharpness in its LED headlamps and digital analog hybrid cluster that tells you this isn't just an homage, it's a full-blown resurrection. Then came the unveiling of the Electric Honda Super Cub, a reinvention of the world's most produced motor vehicle. With over 100 million units sold since its original release in 1958, the Super Cub has become more than a motorcycle. It's a global icon. Honda's new electric iteration of the Cub is designed to meet the needs of modern urban dwellers while preserving the simplicity and charm that made the original so beloved. The 2026 model maintains the classic step-through frame and minimalist aesthetic, but this version rides on a new compact electric drivetrain developed under Honda's e-technology program. Powered by a swappable lithium-ion battery system, it offers up to 120 kilometers on a single charge, making it ideal for city commuters. Torque is instantaneous, offering zippy acceleration perfect for weaving through traffic or taking on hilly streets. Notably, the new Super Cub includes integrated smart connectivity, allowing riders to manage battery status, navigation, and security features via a dedicated mobile app. It's a Super Cub for the connected age, combining Honda's historic accessibility with an embrace of sustainable mobility. As if resurrecting the CB750 and electrifying the Super Cub weren't bold enough, Honda also announced the return of the CB1100. This bike has long represented the bridge between classic styling and muscular performance, and its reintroduction in 2026 leans heavily into both those attributes. While previous CB1100 models were revered for their air-cooled inline-4 engines and retro aesthetics, the upcoming version receives a thorough modernization. Though Honda has opted to retain the air-cooled architecture to maintain the bike's heritage feel and mechanical purity, internal enhancements make it significantly more efficient and environmentally compliant. Engineers have focused on reducing engine heat, noise, and emissions without compromising the deep rumble and satisfying pull that made the CB1100 a cult favorite. Aesthetic refinements such as hand-finished aluminum tank accents, a brushed steel exhaust system, and a finely stitched leather seat speak to Honda's commitment to craftsmanship. The bike also benefits from a new 6-axis IMU, adaptive cruise control, and advanced suspension tuning for a more refined ride. With its dignified presence and formidable road manners, the new CB1100 reasserts Honda's belief in the value of timeless motorcycling. Perhaps the most radical announcement of the event was the reveal of the electric Honda CBX. Known in its original incarnation for an audacious 6-cylinder engine that roared with raw mechanical ferocity, the CBX was always a statement machine. Now Honda is reinterpreting that statement through the lens of electric mobility. The 2026 electric CBX preserves the spirit of excess and innovation by debuting a dual-motor setup capable of delivering over 150 horsepower, all managed by an advanced torque vectoring system. The bike's design pays homage to the angular, muscular proportions of the original CBX, but reimagines them with a cyberpunk flair, complete with carbon fiber fairings, integrated cooling channels, and a multi-layer LED tail assembly that evokes high-performance hypercars. The frame uses a monocoque design for maximum rigidity and weight reduction, while the battery pack is embedded low for a better center of gravity. Fast charging capability offers 80% range in under 30 minutes. And with Honda's new energy recovery system, the bike adapts to braking and acceleration styles to optimize energy use. The electric CBX is a thunderous declaration. Electric doesn't have to mean tame. In Honda's hands, it means power, personality, and progress. Rounding out this seismic announcement was a long-anticipated revival that sent the sports car world into a frenzy. The return of the Honda S2000. A modern classic that originally launched in 1999, the S2000 became a symbol of Honda's engineering precision, agility, and purity of driving experience. Its high-revving engine, balanced chassis, and rear-wheel drive layout made it a favorite among enthusiasts, and its absence has left a void that few competitors have filled. The 2026 S2000 arrives with all the hallmarks of the original, but now it's amplified by new-age engineering. A turbocharged 2.0-liter VTEC engine sits under the hood, tuned to deliver over 320 horsepower, while retaining the eager, rev-happy nature of its predecessor. Purists will rejoice at the return of a 6-speed manual gearbox, now refined with shorter throws and a rev-matching system. Lightweight materials are used throughout the chassis, with carbon-reinforced plastics in the body panels and an aluminum subframe helping the car achieve a near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution. The suspension is fully adaptive, allowing the car to transform from a daily cruiser to a track weapon at the push of a button. Honda has also ensured that the new S2000 supports future sustainability goals. It's engineered to be compatible with e-fuels and offers a mild hybrid system that improves efficiency without diluting performance. This car isn't just a nod to the past, it's a challenge to the industry to reimagine what a true driver's car can be in the era of regulation and electrification. What ties all these launches together is a bold expression of identity. Honda, under Toshihiro Mibe's leadership, is not merely chasing trends or reacting to competitive pressures. It is setting the pace by doubling down on its dual strengths, engineering excellence and emotional connection. The decision to bring back icons like the CB750, CB1100 CBX, and S2000 shows a deep respect for the brand's history. But rather than recreate them as museum pieces, Honda has taken great pains to modernize and, in some cases, completely rethink them. This isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, it's strategic brand storytelling executed through machinery. Mibe's vision seems clear. The future of mobility doesn't have to come at the cost of character, and innovation doesn't have to erase legacy. The launch event itself was a reflection of this philosophy. Set against a futuristic stage design inspired by the clean lines of Honda's concept vehicles, the presentation alternated between dramatic lighting reveals and deep technical briefings. The crowd, comprising journalists, engineers, dealers, and diehard fans, was visibly energized, not just by the products themselves, but by the clear sense of purpose underlying the announcements. Honda wasn't simply unveiling motorcycles and a sports car, it was staking a claim to the emotional terrain of mobility, which has too often been lost in the cold push toward electrification and automation. With each new model, there was a distinct message. The CB750 told the story of evolution through continuity. The Electric Super Cub championed democratized technology for the everyday rider. The CB1100 was a love letter to craftsmanship and visceral experience. The Electric CBX screamed that electrification could be exhilarating. And the S2000's return was a masterclass in balancing mechanical passion with environmental awareness. Through these products, Honda is offering an answer to a question many enthusiasts have been asking for years. Can the soul of driving and riding survive the shift towards sustainability? Honda's answer is not only yes, it's that soul can thrive if the company daring enough is willing to lead. This announcement also signals a strategic refocusing on emotional brand anchors as a competitive edge. In a market flooded with increasingly homogenized electric vehicles and riding machines, differentiation has become difficult. By leaning into nameplates with deep emotional resonance and giving them modern relevance, Honda is executing a masterstroke of brand revival. Each model isn't just a product, it's a narrative vehicle designed to connect generations of riders and drivers. The CB750 connects the rebels of the 70s to today's custom culture. The Super Cub turns delivery riders and city commuters into stewards of a legacy. The CB1100 channels the raw charm of analog engineering into modern sophistication. The CBX dares to imagine an electric future full of noise-free drama. And the S2000 revives the idea that driving can be an art form, not just a utility. At a time when so many manufacturers are retreating into safety, compliance, and uniformity, Honda is choosing to double down on identity and experience. This is no small feat. It takes confidence to reintroduce a manual transmission sports car in a world governed by fuel economy and emissions. It takes ambition to design a six-cylinder inspired electric motorcycle with dual motors in a market saturated with mid-range commuters. And it takes vision to preserve the character of air-cooled engines while investing heavily in zero-emissions platforms. Mibe's Honda is not content with surviving the transition. It intends to lead it, shape it, and infuse it with meaning. These 5 models don't just represent product milestones. They are pillars in a larger strategy that views legacy not as baggage but as propulsion. With one foot grounded in mechanical purity and the other stepping boldly into electrified, connected futures, Honda is mapping a path few have dared to walk. This is not evolution by compromise but by integration. It's the unification of past, present, and future under a single banner: ride, drive, feel. And for the enthusiasts, the purists, the dreamers, and the commuters alike, 2026 is shaping up to be a year that doesn't just promise new models, but promises a reaffirmation of why we fell in love with Honda in the first place. What set this announcement apart from routine product launches wasn't just the range or scale of the models revealed, it was the philosophical clarity behind each decision. Toshihiro Mibe didn't simply present 5 new machines. He articulated a strategy that demonstrates how a legacy brand can reclaim cultural relevance in a rapidly evolving mobility landscape. In many ways, this moment represented the culmination of years of groundwork, technological, emotional, and brand-based, that Honda has been laying across both its motorcycle and automotive divisions. Where some companies have chosen to erase the past to embrace the future, Honda has opted to synthesize the two into a narrative that feels compellingly complete. Delving further into the technological underpinnings of these new models reveals just how committed Honda is to harmonizing innovation with tradition. Take, for instance, the Electric CBX. While its most immediate appeal lies in its muscular stance and hyper-modern design, what truly makes it groundbreaking is Honda's proprietary control software, developed in-house over several years. This system manages the dual-motor layout, torque delivery, regenerative braking, and traction in real time. It uses adaptive learning algorithms that analyze rider behavior over time, customizing throttle response, motor output, and braking to suit individual riding styles. Such technology represents a clear shift toward personalization in electric performance motorcycles, something that has often been criticized as lacking in emotional engagement. This is a marked departure from how electric motorcycles have typically been conceptualized, either as commuter tools or as raw performance vehicles devoid of personality. Honda is offering a third way. By applying its motorsport DNA and user-centric software development, It is creating machines that don't just move, but respond, learn, and evolve with the rider. The CBX becomes not merely a vehicle, but a partner in motion, alive with feedback and adaptable energy. The Electric Super Cub, too, leverages technology in subtle yet transformative ways. Beyond its battery system and minimalist drivetrain, it introduces a new urban platform concept for Honda. This platform is built around modularity and serviceability. The drivetrain and battery are designed for easy replacement, enabling users in emerging markets to maintain the vehicle for decades with minimal costs. More importantly, the bike can serve as a foundation for future two-wheeled electric vehicles under the Honda Mobility Urban Series, suggesting that what we're seeing is not just one product, but the genesis of an entire ecosystem. This is Honda speaking not only to first-world urban commuters, but also to delivery networks in Southeast Asia, students in Africa, and low-cost transportation providers in Latin America. The CB1100, though rooted in mechanical purity, subtly incorporates several forward-looking elements that speak volumes about Honda's long-term direction. Its retention of an air-cooled engine isn't an act of defiance against environmental pressures. It's a commitment to character. But Honda hasn't stopped at keeping the status quo. The air-cooled design has been re-engineered with new alloys, reduced internal friction, and redesigned cooling fins that offer better heat dissipation without compromising the sound and feel that aficionados crave. Moreover, Honda is introducing biolubricants and a hybrid catalytic converter that meets Euro 6 emission standards, making the bike cleaner than many of its water-cooled peers. This suggests a new path forward for legacy engines, a way to remain relevant and compliant in an increasingly regulated world. Even the S2000's return, long seen as a dream by Honda fans, is not a simple retread of a beloved sports car. It's a deliberate, comprehensive response to the challenges of building enthusiast machines in a constrained automotive market. Honda's engineers were reportedly given carte blanche to build the S2000 not as a mass-market car, but as a halo vehicle, a technological and emotional showcase. The car's new chassis includes an intelligent load-balancing system that redistributes stiffness dynamically across its suspension geometry, a first in this segment. Combined with an ultra-responsive electronic steering rack, this allows for precise control that mimics the mechanical feedback of hydraulic systems while benefiting from the low-weight advantages of modern architecture. The S2000's cabin tells its own story. Rather than go full digital as most performance cars have done, Honda opted for a hybrid setup, a tactile row of analog switches and toggles for frequently used functions, accompanied by a customizable digital dash that presents real-time telemetry. This layout speaks to a broader theme in the 2026 lineup. Machines designed not just to perform but to engage, offering the user tactility and emotional reinforcement in a world increasingly dominated by touchscreens and automation. There's a cultural implication here that shouldn't be missed. Honda, long seen as a practical brand known for reliability, is positioning itself as a steward of emotional engineering. While practicality and dependability remain part of its DNA, this new wave of products suggests a Honda that wants to stir the soul as much as it provides dependable service. It's a strategic reinvention of its brand image, one that draws from the same playbook as brands like Porsche and Ducati, who've mastered the art of building machines that are both functional and aspirational. With these 5 models, Honda asserts that it too can tap into the aspirational psyche of its users without betraying its pragmatic roots. Mibe's leadership has been instrumental in shaping this vision. Known for his dual emphasis on technological development and environmental responsibility, he has been pushing for a broader transformation within Honda since taking the helm. This includes massive investments in solid-state battery technology, a growing portfolio of EVs, and a renewed emphasis on synthetic fuel research. The 2026 lineup of motorcycles and the S2000 revival represent the visible fruit of those efforts, not only as products but as proof points in Honda's global strategy. These launches serve as banners under which Honda's broader ambitions, climate responsibility, cultural resonance, and consumer experience march forward in unison. It's also worth noting how these models reinforce Honda's commitment to modular design and cross-platform engineering. Each of the new motorcycles and the S2000 shares common technologies that span software architecture, materials science, and electrification. The battery platform in the Electric Super Cub, for example, is scalable and can be slotted into future scooters, delivery bikes, or even compact four-wheeled vehicles. The regenerative braking and torque vectoring systems in the Electric CBX share a lineage with Honda's recent work in Formula E and endurance racing. The S2000's new composite materials and electronic dampers are likely to appear in future sedans and crossovers, enhancing efficiency and safety across the board. This is Honda playing the long game, using these launches to preview broader changes across its entire product ecosystem. A powerful subtext in this announcement is Honda's rekindled relationship with community and customization. With the return of the CB750 and CB1100, Honda is also introducing a new line of modular accessories, customization kits, and even software packages that allow owners to tune ride modes and user interfaces. The company is opening the door to what it calls rider-authored motorcycles, machines that serve as canvases for personal expression. The S2000 will also launch with an array of factory-backed performance upgrades, including suspension kits, aero enhancements, and ECU remapping services. Honda isn't just selling machines, it's building an infrastructure for ownership that empowers creativity and passion. There's a clear understanding here that the post-sale experience has become critical in building brand loyalty. Honda's ecosystem is evolving to meet those expectations with a renewed emphasis on digital ownership tools, in-app diagnostics, remote upgrades, and community events. The 2026 models are expected to be tightly integrated into this new platform, which Honda is calling H-Live. Through H-Live, owners will be able to schedule service, download firmware updates, access curated ride routes, and even connect with other enthusiasts based on model ownership. This signals a tectonic shift for a company that has traditionally been seen as product-centric. Now, the product is the entry point into a lifestyle, a narrative, a network, and a culture. Geographically, this announcement also marks a recalibration of Honda's global intentions. While each of these 5 models will be released worldwide, they've been subtly tailored to the nuances of their respective target markets. The Super Cub, for example, will launch with region-specific features like integrated GPS tracking for fleet managers in Asia and heated seats for European winter commuters. The CB1100 and CB750 are positioned to tap into the growing retro and custom scenes in North America and Europe, with launch events already being scheduled at custom bike shows and heritage festivals. The CBX is expected to make a splash in performance-conscious markets like Japan, Germany, and the United States. While the S2000 has been explicitly framed as a global halo vehicle, designed to resonate with young enthusiasts from Tokyo to Toronto. What's remarkable is how Honda is integrating environmental stewardship into these culturally distinct narratives. For each new model, Honda has committed to offsetting its production emissions through investments in renewable energy and carbon capture initiatives. It's also launching a One Ride, One Tree initiative alongside the new motorcycle lineup, pledging to plant a tree for every unit sold globally. The initiative will be tracked through the H-Live app, giving owners a direct view of the environmental impact their purchase helps mitigate. This is Honda reimagining the relationship between consumption and sustainability, not as opposing forces but as partners in long-term thinking. As the implications of these announcements ripple through the industry, one thing becomes clear. Honda is no longer content to be merely a benchmark for quality and efficiency. It is aiming to lead the conversation on what mobility can feel like. And that is a conversation that touches more than torque figures or emissions ratings. It speaks to joy, identity, and meaning. This marks a renaissance moment for Honda, a period of rediscovery and bold proclamation, not through loud slogans or gimmicks, but through products that tell stories. The CB750 whispers to an era of mechanical wonder. The Electric Super Cub sings of new cities and untapped opportunity. The CB1100 pulses with craftsmanship and continuity. The CBX, now electric, screams into the future. And the S2000? It stands proudly as a declaration that emotion and excellence aren't mutually exclusive. As the world watches this next chapter unfold, there is a palpable sense that something rare is happening. A major manufacturer is no longer playing catch-up, but is instead setting the tone for what comes next. not just in how we ride or drive, but in how we connect with the machines that move us. The message from Honda, delivered not with words but with engineering, is unambiguous. The future doesn't have to be unfamiliar. It can roar like the past, glide like the present, and inspire like nothing else before. Honda's announcement, though product-driven on the surface, hinted at a much deeper structural transformation that extends far beyond the vehicles themselves. The company is not just responding to consumer demand, it's actively reshaping the entire ecosystem surrounding mobility. By unveiling these 5 new machines in unison, each representing a different layer of Honda's legacy and future, Toshihiro Mibe has effectively drawn a blueprint for the brand's evolution across hardware, software, design philosophy, and user engagement. One of the most fascinating and underappreciated aspects of this development is the cross-disciplinary integration that powered the design and engineering process behind these machines. Unlike conventional development silos, where automobile and motorcycle divisions operate independently, Honda's new approach centers on a unified innovation framework. Engineers from Honda's automotive team collaborated directly with motorcycle specialists, digital experience designers, and software developers. The goal was not just to produce great machines, but to generate symbiotic technologies that could transcend traditional categories. The new CBX's torque management system, for example, shares control protocols with experimental systems developed for Honda's electric NSX successor concept. Similarly, the battery pack architecture in the Super Cub mirrors the module design being explored for Honda's electric K cars in Japan. This convergence of thought and capability marks a profound shift in how Honda views product creation. It's no longer enough to build something efficient or beautiful. Now, it must also be adaptable, communicative, and environmentally responsible. That shift has necessitated changes in tooling, supply chain logistics, and even internal talent development. Honda has started cross-training its engineers across electric powertrain systems, software control theory, and AI-based vehicle behavior prediction. It's an acknowledgement that future vehicles are going to behave more like living ecosystems than static machines. And the 2026 models serve as the first visible result of that new internal culture. But technical evolution is only one facet of this paradigm shift. Equally significant is the psychological repositioning of the Honda brand. Historically perceived as accessible, rational, and mechanically excellent, but not necessarily daring, Honda is now staking a claim in the high-emotion space of personal mobility. That space has traditionally been dominated by boutique brands or luxury marques with flamboyant designs and niche appeal. What Honda is doing with these 5 machines is rewriting that narrative. Emotion, daring, and personality are not exclusive to the elite. They can be mass-produced, they can be accessible, and they can still be grounded in quality, affordability, and durability. This democratization of emotional engineering represents a key pillar of Honda's emerging identity. In practical terms, it means every design decision, down to the angle of the CB750's tank crease or the layout of the S2000's center console, was filtered through the question of, how does this feel? That's not something you typically hear in the boardrooms of large-scale OEMs. Honda's renewed focus on experience over specs is visible in the tactile materials they've chosen, the sound profiles engineered into new exhausts, and even the haptic feedback delivered through handlebars and steering wheels. These are visceral, embodied decisions, designed to awaken a sense of connection that can't be measured in performance data. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Honda's expanding vision of what it means to own one of their machines. The traditional vehicle ownership model, buy, ride, service, repeat, is being replaced with a more immersive and flexible ecosystem. Subscription-based access to over-the-air updates, gamified performance tracking, augmented reality rider guides, and even digital twins for vehicle diagnostics are all being integrated into the 2026 lineup's extended services. These features are not just for tech enthusiasts. They're carefully designed to enhance ownership satisfaction for all types of users, from first-time riders to seasoned track drivers. The S2000, for example, will come with an optional companion app that tracks lap performance, tire health, and G-force loads in real time, translating data into insights for driver improvement and mechanical care. Meanwhile, The Electric Super Cub will allow users to access fleet-sharing programs, battery swapping stations, and neighborhood-based cooperative maintenance hubs. Honda's marketing and product strategy has also undergone a transformation to align with these new principles. Instead of global monolith-style rollouts where one message is broadcast to all markets, the 2026 campaigns will emphasize hyper-local storytelling. In Tokyo, the CBX launch is being paired with an art exhibit on kinetic motion and soundscapes. In Los Angeles, the S2000 will be revealed at a pop-up driving experience on Mulholland Drive, inviting both media and local drivers to experience the vehicle in its natural habitat. In Nairobi, the Electric Super Cub will be introduced alongside community-building initiatives around sustainable transportation access. Each event is tailored to reflect the cultural nuance and symbolic resonance of the product it showcases. It's marketing not as noise but as dialogue. This localization also extends to manufacturing and supply chain. Honda has announced plans to decentralize certain aspects of production for the 2026 models. Using flexible manufacturing systems and modular assembly lines, key components will be built closer to target markets to reduce carbon footprints, lead times, and shipping costs. For example, assembly of the Electric Super Cub for Southeast Asia will be based in Thailand and Vietnam, while the CB1100 will be partially assembled in the United Kingdom for the European market. This isn't just about cost, it's about resilience, responsiveness, and environmental ethics. It also fosters local job creation and allows Honda to adapt models to region-specific standards and preferences much more fluidly. An often overlooked yet vital dimension of this shift is how Honda is investing in future-proofing the user journey. Take energy infrastructure, for instance. The rollout of the electric CBX and Super Cub would have little long-term viability without a robust charging ecosystem. Honda knows this and has therefore accelerated partnerships with national and municipal governments, energy providers, and private enterprise. They're not just deploying charging stations, they're designing user-centered micro-energy hubs. These will offer solar-powered charge points, rider lounges, maintenance kiosks, and digital service access portals. The goal is to turn charging into an integrated, even pleasant part of the ownership journey rather than a limiting factor. In emerging economies, these hubs will double as small-scale community centers, offering Wi-Fi access and digital literacy programs powered by Honda's energy storage systems. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us. What are your thoughts on Honda reviving the CB750 and CB1100? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.